Social media and self-perception. The digital hall of mirrors. How your online presence shapes who you think you are. Every time you post, scroll, or engage on social media, you're participating in a complex psychological experiment, one that shapes not just how others see you, but fundamentally alters how you see yourself. While we often think of social media as a simple communication tool, it has become something far more powerful. A digital mirror that reflects back a distorted version of who we are, gradually reshaping our self-perception in ways we rarely recognize. In the last article, we explored how your online emotional reactions, particularly anger, serve as a mirror reflecting your inner emotional patterns. Today, we're examining a different but equally important aspect, how the very act of participating in social media gradually reshapes your fundamental sense of self, often without your awareness. Understanding how this digital hall of mirrors affects your self-awareness can transform your relationship not only with social media, but with yourself. The curated self versus the authentic self. Social media encourages us to present highlight reels rather than behind-the-scenes reality. You carefully select photos, craft clever captions, and share moments of success, joy, or insight. Over time, this curated version of yourself begins to feel like the real you, or worse, creates a standard you feel pressured to live up to constantly. Consider Maria, who built an Instagram presence around her fitness journey. Initially, sharing her workouts motivated her and connected her with like-minded people. But gradually, she found herself exercising not for her health, but for content. When she missed workouts, she felt like she was failing not just her fitness goals, but her online identity. The digital version of herself had begun driving her real-world choices and self-perception. This split between your curated online self and your authentic daily experience creates what could be called digital dissonance, the gap between who you appear to be online and who you feel you are offline. The wider this gap becomes, the more distorted your self-perception is. The validation loop. Social media transforms self-worth into a numbers game. Likes, comments, shares, and followers become external metrics for internal value. Each notification triggers a small dopamine hit, reinforcing your behavior and gradually training you to seek validation through digital approval rather than internal awareness. But here's where self-perception becomes dangerously distorted. You begin to measure your worth by engagement metrics rather than authentic self-knowledge. A post with few likes might leave you questioning your value, while high engagement can create an inflated sense of importance. But neither response reflects your actual worth or your authentic self. Notice how different you feel after posting something that receives lots of engagement versus something that doesn't. These emotional responses reveal how much of your self-perception has become tied to external digital validation rather than internal self-awareness. The comparison trap. Social media creates unprecedented opportunities for comparison. You're constantly exposed to others' highlight reels, their vacations, achievements, relationships, and carefully curated moments of joy. This comparison doesn't just affect your mood, it fundamentally shapes how you see yourself in relation to others. When you scroll through images of friends' perfect meals, dream vacations, or career achievements, your brain doesn't process these as selected highlights. Instead, you unconsciously compare their best moments to your entire experience, including your struggles, mundane moments, and private challenges. This distorted comparison gradually erodes accurate self-perception. You begin to see yourself as less successful, less happy, or less accomplished. Not based on reality, but based on comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to others' edited public presentation. The echo chamber effect. Social media algorithms create personalized information bubbles that reflect your existing interests, beliefs, and preferences back to you. While this might feel comfortable, it gradually distorts your self-perception by reinforcing a narrow view of who you are while filtering out information that might challenge or expand your self-understanding. This echo chamber effect can make you feel more certain about your views and identity than's warranted. When you only see content that confirms your existing beliefs, you may develop an inflated sense of how common your perspectives are, or how right you are about various topics. This false certainty becomes part of your self-perception, limiting your capacity for growth and authentic self-awareness. Of course, you don't see it that way. Performance pressure. Living life through a social media lens also creates constant pressure to make your experiences post-worthy. You begin to evaluate moments not just for their inherent value, but for their potential online impact. This performance pressure subtly but significantly distorts how you experience and remember events. Instead of being fully present during meaningful moments, part of your attention shifts to how you'll share it, what caption you will write, or how others will respond to it. This divided attention not only diminishes your actual experience, but creates a perception that the digital sharing of an experience is as important as, or more important than, the experience itself. Reclaiming authentic self-perception. Developing accurate self-perception in a digital world requires conscious effort and regular reality checks. Here are some specific practices for maintaining authentic self-awareness. First, the mirror test. Regularly ask yourself, am I making this choice because it aligns with my authentic values or because it will create good content? This simple question helps distinguish between authentic self-expression and curated performance. The metrics pause. Before checking likes, comments, or followers, pause and ask, how do I feel about myself right now, independent of any external validation? Then notice how your self-perception shifts after viewing your metrics. The reality comparison. When you find yourself comparing your personal life to others' online presentations, remind yourself, I'm comparing my behind-the-scenes reality to their edited highlights. Then consciously redirect your attention to your own values, progress, and joy in life. The digital Sabbath. Regularly take breaks from social media to reconnect with your offline self. Notice how you feel about yourself, your life, and your relationships when you're not constantly exposed to digital comparison and validation. Questions for self-discovery. Use these reflection questions to explore how digital life might be affecting your self-perception. How do I feel about myself when I'm not online versus when I'm actively engaging in social media? Next, what aspects of my life do I never share online? And how might that create a distorted online self-image? When did I last make a life choice based on how it would look online rather than whether it was truly important to me? How does my self-talk change when I'm more active on social media? Finally, what would I think about my life if I never compared it to what I see online? the path forward. The goal isn't to eliminate social media, but to use it consciously rather than letting it unconsciously shape your self-perception. This means regularly checking in with your authentic self, maintaining relationships and activities that exist independent of digital validation. And remembering that your worth exists entirely separate from your online presence. True self-awareness requires seeing yourself clearly, not through the distorted lens of digital metrics, curated presentations, or endless comparisons. The more consciously you engage with social media, the more you can enjoy its benefits while protecting your authentic self-perception. Today's practice. For the next week, try this experiment in authentic self-perception. First, before opening social media, take a moment to notice how you feel about yourself and your life before any digital input. Then, during use, pay attention to how your self-perception shifts as you scroll, post, or engage. And finally, after getting off social media, after closing, notice what feelings linger after you're finished with your social media session. This simple awareness practice helps you distinguish between your authentic self-perception and the version shaped by digital influences. Remember, social media is a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how consciously you use it. By maintaining awareness of how digital life influences self-perception, you can enjoy connection and sharing while preserving the authentic self-awareness that serves as your true foundation. So, how has social media influenced your self-perception? Have you noticed differences between how you see yourself online versus offline? I'd love to hear your insights about maintaining authentic self-awareness in our digital world. Please leave any comments below.